it was like a smokescreen in saying that, this was about women's reservation, but what seemed to happen was that it was really very much more about delimitation.
This was just an amendment, and this amendment had came as a good news for all of us. Well, I think 850 was a good formula.
Finally, when the draft came out, it was an absolute shocker. Now, obviously, then there had to be an uproar.
So everybody saw it as a ploy to bring delimitation.
For those for whom this was important that women's reservation happen quickly, happen by 2029, they were bound to be let down. If you are going to link delimitation and such a contentious form of doing delimitation to women's reservation, then intention becomes highly questionable. We were saying, आप इसको अलग कर दीजिए.
The politics of it to make a point that women will be given, and to say that opposition blocked it, and opposition saying that it was just a kind of gimmick.
Even in 850, I think it's not like their intentions will change.
Women reservation bill, if it was passed with this formula, which was 850, increase the seat, distribute it equally, nobody is going to be a loser, let women come in.
Let Mr. Modi impress all the women. All members of parliament and all political parties must know that women are watching. You can't just do politics in our name.
So eventually who got really thaga kaun gaya? Women.
Hello and welcome to HT's weekly talk show, The Interview. Delimitation wrapped in a sari, female feticide, a magician who failed, and so on and so forth. Attacks and counterattacks on the floor of the House that finally saw the collapse of a bill that the government brought in Parliament following a special session midway the ongoing state elections. Respect for women is respect for the nation, the Prime Minister said. The government's intention, the opposition alleged, were suspect. The defeat of the bill has raised several questions, but more importantly, it is the politics surrounding the controversial legislation which is in focus. We have with us two activists, Ranjana Kumari and Anjali Bharadwaj, to speak to us about the collapse of the bill, the government's game plan, if any, and the opposition's role in stalling what is seen as a progressive legislation. But as of now, the women of India will have to wait, as they have for 3 decades, to get 33% reservation in Parliament and state legislatures. Ranjana Kumari and Anjali Bharadwaj are both well-known names championing the cause of women. They are here with us in this edition of HT's weekly talk show, The Interview. Welcome to the show, Ranjana and Anjali, and I'm going to address you both by your first names, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Let me begin by asking both of you your objections to the government's move. Were you against it? Were you against the bill coming up? Were you for it? Was bringing the bill a good or a bad step? Anjali.
The first thing that across the board I can say on behalf of women's groups and women is that any attempt to bring about women's reservation has always been welcome. Now, as far as this particular step was concerned, I think it was very clear from the beginning that the kind of move that was required, which was sought to be brought, would have required a constitutional amendment, which essentially requires 2/3 majority. And that would mean that there would have to be a consensus amongst political parties to push it through. We know that the ruling party does not have 2/3 majority in Parliament.
But it has the ability to manage, and I'm underlining the word manage, numbers.
The arithmetic. As far as this move was concerned, I thought that what was extremely concerning was that after saying that, this is to hasten women's reservation and ensure that it happens from 2029 onwards, there was absolutely no information about the details in the public domain. The process was completely shrouded in secrecy. No consultation happened with anybody, whether it was citizens and, from what we understood, even with members of parliament, which was very, very problematic. I think what happened finally was that the bills that were brought in were very intricately linked. The women's reservation bill and the delimitation. It was like a smokescreen in saying that, this was about women's reservation, but what seemed to happen was that it was really very much more about delimitation. So it naturally got caught in the political kind of, slugfest that we saw.
Before I bring Ranjana in to add to this, this bit about we were not consulted, nobody was consulted, I find that, particularly in the context of citizens, not political parties, I find that kind of a sour grape story. That just because one section or some women or some groups were not consulted, they feel that since we were not consulted, everything is wrong. Because how do you know? The government may have had discussions with many women, many groups. So somehow this to me is not an argument which I seem to accept easily.
So Kumkum, I think this is not about any particular group or any person. The central government in 2014 adopted a pre-legislative consultation policy where when they bring legislation, they are supposed to put draft legislation in the public domain for engagement, for giving feedback, and on the basis of the feedback that is received, the draft legislation is to be finalized and then taken to the cabinet. There was nothing that was put out in the public domain. If maybe the government, might have consulted somebody, the government should put out who they were consulting with.
Yes and no, because governance doesn't necessarily, to my mind, mean that they have to make public every act of what they're doing.
So the whole point in a democracy is that people ought to know and be able to participate. It isn't about me, Ranjana, you or anybody. It's about, there is so much wisdom across the country and people must be allowed to engage with the draft legislation before it's brought in.
Okay, Ranjana, you wanted to add to this, and then after you've said what you have to and said your piece, then good step, bad step.
Just to respond to the last part of what she said, this was not a new bill. First of all, this was just an amendment to a bill which has become a law. So this was passed in 2023 already. It had links with delimitation as well as census. That was, politically that was totally not right to do because that's the reason why it could not be implemented then. So this was just an amendment, and this amendment had came as a good news for all of us who have been fighting for this bill for 3 decades. From street to village to parliament, I do not know how many types of activity, action we have done collectively as women's groups.
I'm interrupting you. Did it come as a good news even when the sense was that this will not go through?
Like I said, Kumkum, that, when we hear and when we heard the Prime Minister say that we want women's reservation to happen in 2029, and, how can that be anything but good news? But I think what happens from there on is that we were all aware that it would require a constitutional amendment because what got passed in 2023, like Ranjana is saying, was very clearly linking delimitation with women's reservation and therefore sort of just kicking the ball forward and indefinitely perhaps. So now when the census was happening, delimitation had to happen. At this time, if the government was bringing in something, the form of that amendment was very important. The language of it, I'm sure if it was shared with people, a lot of women would have welcomed the fact that we would have reservation from 2029, but would have definitely said, don't link it to delimitations.
Let me put this logic that if 543 seats 1/3 women should be given from out of 543, then you don't need delimitation. You only needed to reserve those seats and do it by lottery or whatever, whichever way, which they all fear.
And the men giving up their claim.
Their seats. So this is even today it can be done, even tomorrow. But since this structural deficit has been there for so long, democracy has been truncated like that from the very beginning. Women never got the chance, basically because all political parties are male dominated. But just to correct that when delimitation issue was passed, everybody knew that after census delimitation will happen, because then larger constituencies will be bifurcated. But here the formula that was given, and unfortunately the draft was not really robust and it did not include, was to give 50% proportionately distributed among the states. So what would happen? 39 seats for Tamil Nadu will become 59, and also 80 seats for UP will become 120. Similarly for all the other states. Now here nobody was a loser. This formula, if implemented in the way it was proposed, it should have been in part of the amendment that was introduced, but it was not, unfortunately.
That's what the opposition said. If you give us an assurance, we will say yes now.
Yes, and in fact, one of the members got up and said that from the Congress party that we will immediately accept that, but it was not done. So everybody saw it as a ploy to bring delimitation, which will happen in any case after the census. The politics of it to make a point that women will be given, and to say that opposition blocked it, and opposition saying that it was just a kind of gimmick to get attention of the women and make it as a political ploy. So eventually who got really thaga kaun gaya? Women.
My next point was this, that all this nitty-gritty politics, yes, it was there, and in one sense the government's intentions were suspect, but that's how it's been perceived. But being the devil's advocate, the fact remains that even with delimitation, the women would have got some due. So wouldn't it have been beneficial? And in one sense, how sensible was it to throw the baby out with the bathwater?
So, Kumkum, I can hardly think of an issue today which is more contentious than delimitation. I mean, we all know how, population increase has not been uniform across the country. The northern Hindi-speaking belt, where the BJP has a stronghold, is set to gain much more by way of seats, the proportion of seats in parliament, if a delimitation happens on the basis of population. The southern states are, of course, very worried. They feel that they are going to be penalized, punished for actually contributing to national development. So anytime one talks about delimitation, it's a hot potato. Look, this government is politically very astute. There was no way that the government wouldn't have known that there'd be in fact an uproar. And that is exactly what happened. One thing where I continue to disagree with Ranjana is that, this was only an amendment. These amendments themselves can be as significant as the parent law. So in this also, when an amendment was being brought, there were sources being quoted which led people to believe that there would be proportional increase in the number of seats, which would mean, let's say, 50% increase across the board. Finally, when the draft came out, it was an absolute shocker, because the delimitation that was being talked about till then was at least proportional. Now suddenly the draft bill said that there will be delimitation according to population, and the number of seats will go up to 850. Now obviously then there had to be an uproar for those for whom this was important, that women's reservation happen by 2029. They were bound to be let down.
Why were they bound to be let down? Because my sense is that some of the naysayers, and I will include some of you, not critically, but who actually shifted focus from women's bill to delimitation.
Let me respond to that, Kumkum. The simple thing that the government had to do, the amendment that they had to bring, was a simple one-line amendment. They had to say that we are delinking women's reservation from delimitation and census. one single line amendment. Whatever the number of seats are in the parliament or in the legislative assemblies, a third will go to women. That was not done. Instead, delimitation was brought in.
But what about shifting focus? From the few press conferences I heard, there were words like, "Aap log gadar machaiye." That was really shifting focus and making the entire women's reservation bill completely political. Some of the women activists were really talking the language of the opposition. So, to my mind, women's reservation issue got pushed into the background.
I just want to, before she says something, I want to add to you. The whole issue at this stage, to deflect it to delimitation and deflect the women's reservation and complicate it by saying that it will follow delimitation. Look, if you don't increase the seat, which was increased and announced that it will become 850, if you don't do that, then obviously nobody is willing to leave their seat. There is no extra seat. How do ever women get this into the parliament? Never ever. According to
So,
my
that's
own
why 850
calculation
was a good formula?
well, I think 850 from my point of view was a good formula, and I think we should have agreed and seen to it that the government implements it. That's where the opposition really got carried away.
On this point about 850, which I was asking you, don't you think it would have at least given a kind of a positive foothold? And, the blockage and all that has been happening all these years would have been removed, and even if delimitation was being linked to it, unfortunate, but women would have at least got their due, or at least part of the due. So, in that sense, haven't the critics somehow, as I said, thrown the baby out with the bathwater?
I'm not speaking for any political party, opposition or otherwise, but nobody outside wanted delimitation to be linked to women's reservation or then to bring it up, except to say that, look, if you are going to link delimitation and such a contentious form of doing delimitation to women's reservation, then intention becomes highly questionable. We were saying, aap isko अलग कर दीजिए. Even in 850, I think it's not like men will, their intentions will change.
Ranjana doesn't seem to agree, so I'm going to take her counterpoint on this.
Kumkum, just to say that, okay, let's see a scenario. Delimitation has happened, fine. Census has happened, and then on the basis of the population size, delimitation. So, do you think the scenario will change? It will get politically more complicated, because obviously the states which have stabilized the population will perhaps get less seats.
The government said the opposite. The government said no state will lose.
Yeah, so in this 850 promise, it was that no state will lose.
Correct.
But in real delimitation, definitely southern states are going to lose, if at all that will be ever implemented, if at all that will be ever acceptable, because it will never be. That is why women reservation bill, if it was passed with this formula, which was 850, increase the seat, distribute it equally, nobody is going to be a loser, let women come in.
That was my point. So, you think this was a better formula?
I think this was a better formula, because delimitation formula will never work.
So, Anjali, at 850, Ranjana says it will happen. At 543, it will never happen. So, somewhere the scenario which some of you are pushing is that it will never happen. What she's saying, it could happen. So, where are we?
Kumkum, I respectfully disagree. I think
I'm glad.
when there is a will, there is a way.
But there
If
is no
the
will.
government, there is no will, and therefore I suspect that it could be 800, and therefore I feel that it could be 850 or it could be 1850, and there will still be no reservation. So I think that what we need to do is actually see the problem for what it is, that there is actually no will to implement women's
Exactly,
reservation.
that's the first sentence I said, that there is no will.
543, there is no magic number.
So, looking at that scenario, where are we?
We are at a place where women are sitting today and still demanding, after 30 long years of asking for women's reservation, and maybe doing it for the next 30 years, still there is political will. It will just be very, very easy for all political parties to say, देखिए ये तो सिस्टम ठीक नहीं था, ये फॉर्मूला ठीक नहीं था, वो ठीक होगा तब करेंगे. आप सीधी बात करिए, आप कहिए जितनी भी सीटें हैं, क्या क्या संकोच है?
If opposition was serious, then all the naysayers were serious about getting women in parliament. If they all wanted women reservation to go through, they should not have got entangled into pushing and saying that this is a kind of ploy, political ploy to bring delimitation. Because delimitation will never ever allow southern states to accept that, and this is where women reservation will never happen. So now the way out was not to get into it, but to say, okay, fine, we agree, do it.
The prerogative of getting a bill into parliament is squarely that of the ruling party. What came into parliament in the special session that just went past? The government put out 3 drafts and basically linked women's reservation to a very contentious
No, they linked it.
delimitation.
They all collectively linked in
and-
2023.
And again, the government, instead of delinking it, again brought that very, very conveniently. We have a situation today where the special session came and went, and women again have nothing to look forward to. It is absolutely shocking that after building women's hopes up, the government brought in a delimitation bill which had an umbilical connection to women's reservation. And knowing very well there was no way that the opposition, whose help the government needed to pass this bill, would not agree. It was a stillborn. And the government is going out and saying all opposition parties are against women's reservation. No, they all got together in 2023 and passed the reservation
no, they passed
bill.
it with the same similar hurdle.
And that's what
Similar
the government brought
hurdle they
again.
passed it because they knew. Look, that's what I'm saying. The politics of it is that when they passed it in 2023, every member sitting inside the house, and it was unanimously passed.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all knew that census will take time, and also that after census,
So delay tactics.
the biggest political question is delimitation, and that's why they wanted. That is why I feel that a big opportunity missed for women, and certainly women should not sit down and wait and to get this whole thing on the platter. Let's all fight for it and try to take it. But at the same time, this was, and I do see it as an opportunity which
Missed. So 850 formula better, lesser devil, at least something would happen, versus an aborted attempt of killing it at one go. Is that how we can see it?
I don't, and I'll tell you why. Because
There is
if
still hope.
let
There
let
is
us-
still hope. She's
let
still
us-
saying that they will be able to do it.
Let us imagine a scenario where what the government had brought in was actually passed. It still would require the very contentious delimitation that Ranjana is talking about for women's reservation to happen.
Delimitation was not there, my dear. They only were saying that, okay, what we are going to, of course, the mistake, or I can say the biggest letdown was that it was not brought in written form inside the legislation.
Yes, and
With that 850.
850.
The delimitation
you take
formula.
But if you take 850 and you say that irrespective of the state size, we will increase 50% everywhere. So there is some sense of justice there.
Where was that
But-
bill? I'm still waiting
That's
to see
the point
that
she's
bill.
making.
Exactly.
No, that's fine.
My
That's
point
the
is,
if it was there,
my
if it
point
was
is-
there,
Yeah.
would you or the naysayers, would they have said, okay, like she's saying, 850 better than nothing? Flawed, but still we are getting something.
No, there is 850 is not flawed. See, number of seats is something that can be increased. It will be increased eventually when delimitation happens. What is flawed is the manner in which delimitation was being proposed and pushed through in the name of women's reservation.
Point
Let me
well
put it-
taken.
Let
All
me
right,
put it
okay.
this way. Even if these bills had passed in the way that they were brought in, it would still require women to wait till delimitation happened. And when delimitation would happen, we know that there would be problem. It is politically very problematic. There would be no guarantee that before 2029 a delimitation exercise would successfully happen. So then women's reservation gets kicked further ahead.
But now it's not
beyond
happening.
20.
It will not happen for the
it
next-
will happen
next
in
100
the way
How?
in which
How?
in the way
How?
in which
How it will
because
happen?
currently it is it's linked to delimitation.
Okay.
So it continued to be linked to, see, the government, let's understand what is happening.
But you
A
just now
census-
said the southern states
there
will
is-
not accept the
there is
delimitation
a
outcome.
census that is underway. It's already started. The
But
government
if
has said,
sorry to interrupt, but in this particular bill which came in, which census it did not address. Is that right?
That it didn't address which
Yeah.
sense.
So then that in itself is a...
No, this was another weakness of the proposal, that it did not really clearly stated that which census.
Is that a problem? Was that a problem?
Of course, if the government had said that, we are delinking it from delimitation, we would have, all of us would have been clapping.
But the government was not going to
The
say
government
that.
was not going to say that.
There was no question of clapping on women's reservation.
The government is, why can't the government say that 543, a third will be reserved from, what is stopping the government?
But this is a idealistic and should have been a situation in any democracy, not happened. So, while any government's intentions or the men's intentions have been suspect, under those difficult and kind of impossible circumstances, that 840 was maybe a beginning, flawed, not desirable, but since we are getting nothing and we'll probably not get anything, 30 years, maybe another 30, it's from an idealistic situation to a practical solution. Wouldn't a practical solution been a better bet?
Delimitation is not going to happen easily in this country. Now you tell me, logically, if delimitation is not going to happen easily, then women's reservation will not happen easily.
Ranjana, if delimitation is not going to happen, women's reservation will not happen.
Yeah, that's what the future looks like now. That is why we felt that this was a good solution. Let 850 be equally proportionately divided, and then to have all women coming in and pass this. When was it said that only after delimitation that 850 seats will be distributed? It was just to be distributed equally, 50%. That was the formula. It was not saying that, okay, let delimitation happen, then we will distribute a seat according to side of the constituency. It was not said like that.
So the law as it stands today, the Women's Reservation Act, says that delimitation has to happen before women's reservation. What was brought in to Parliament in the special session did not delink it, it continued to remain linked. So 850 seats, it's just a number. Delimitation had to happen.
If it was like that, if that was the mindset of the people sitting in Parliament in opposition, let me clearly say that, if that was the intention, they should have understood this politics when 2023, they all supported it unanimously and passed.
I agree
wasn't
with you.
Wasn't
Everybody
it
should have said at that time, the government should not have linked it and the opposition should have stood up.
It was linked to delimitation.
Yes.
So then at that point, why was there not a hue and cry?
No, of
Why did
course,
opposition not
the
say that, we will
I
not
am
let
in
this pass?
agreement that every member of parliament should have actually taken this up. I think women were saying it was a huge step, I think, even just to say that we have at least today a women's reservation.
My point of 850.
Bill has passed. No, that's not 850. That is 850 is delimitation. 850
How?
is
Why?
yes. How do you increase the number of seats without undertaking delimitation?
So I think there are formulas which could have been worked out.
Yes,
But since nobody wants women reservation, otherwise they would have not allowed such a bill to be passed.
2023.
Yes, 2023, they should have objected then and there. And now when there is another formula there, some possibility emerged, they all stamped it.
there was no possibility. That's what I'm saying, Ranjana.
Ranjana, you have kind of absolved the Prime Minister by saying, and I quote you, it is misplaced to blame any single leader. Just explain this to me.
Well, because I think the collective responsibility of each political party is to ensure that within the party structure, framework, and also opportunity to contest election should be given equally to men and women. Why say this one didn't do it, this one didn't allow it? What happened for 30 years? Even when the ruling party then had 2/3 majority in parliament, there was a time when 2/3 majority was there in the parliament. Why it was not passed? I think this is real politics where they are trying to blame someone. I don't consider this to be the right approach.
Anjali?
So I think that what we have seen is again that women who have been waiting for so long saying, आधा आसमान हमारा है, saying at least 33% reservation तो हमें दे दीजिए.
अब एक टुकड़ा भी नहीं मिलेगा.
अब कुछ नहीं, कोई प्रोग्रेस नहीं है. ऑन पेपर वी हैव women's reservation. In reality, we still don't have women's reservation.
So to get this whole thing going, we need to start now looking at the political parties. Please start giving seats to women.
You know, there I think it's a question of winnability. And every political party which goes into the fray needs to win every seat. Probably that is why tickets are given to men, because I don't think there it is a gender issue as much as the issue of winnability.
No, Kumkum. If that's the logic which has brought so many anti-social elements in parliament.
Gender cuts across antisocial elements anyways. I will not take names, but there have been many chief ministers in highly populous states which have amassed huge amounts of wealth.
Whereas we always say, na, money, muscle, mafia. So that mafia element getting into the parliament has happened because of this logic that if you give it to women, they don't have higher winnability. I don't see, we can say, blanket statement saying that women have less winnability. But what really happens? Seats which are not winnable are allocated to women. Parties don't support resource-wise same way those women who they nominate to contest the election. And also women are normally pitched against very, very powerful candidates. So powerful in the sense of who can bring in money, who can bring in all elements which makes winnability possible.
Let me ask both of you, what do you make of this special session of parliament? Why the need when elections are midway? What was the urgency? Was it the state elections? Was it looking at 2029? What was the government's game plan?
Women's vote has become now as a vote bank and formidable vote bank. They are ensuring victory and loss for candidates and for parties. You want to address to the women's constituency now.
After half the elections are over, because there are only two states left, West Bengal and Tamil Nadu.
You see, people sitting in power are not playing Ludo or they are not playing, they are playing politics.
The timing of it does kind of become very suspect because we have two states, West Bengal, where there is a woman chief minister, and of course the southern state, where, both the states where the BJP is not in power, the thinking could have been, because if one were to think politically, that women are a very, very important vote bank. And I think the BJP makes no bones about it. They are very clear that women are very important to them as a vote bank. Perhaps there was a thinking that this could be a win-win. If it goes through, then, it could be something that could be taken and to the women and said that, look, we got this done. And if it didn't happen, to
Blame
then
it on the opposition.
beat your opponents with and say, look, we wanted to do it, they didn't do it.
Rajana, do you agree with it being a win-win situation? And is that one of the reasons why the government called this hurried session? And as Anjali says, it could have waited. There was no rush.
Perhaps it was a little bit miscalculation because when you look at West Bengal and when you look at Mamta Didi, she wins because of women's support. And I don't think this kind of a effort in such a few, this in a week, 10 days can travel so fast that women will change their mind and think that politically we didn't get it or the reservation didn't happen, so they will start going other way. And 27% seats she promised and she did deliver. So women actually have already been given by her the seats.
Exactly. So somewhere this plan, if we say, or this devious game plan of the government.
I won't call it devious.
Why? Because if it is to get, and as Mahua Moitra said, delimitation wrapped in a sari, if that was it, or if it was really to win the women's vote like you are saying, then in a sense the special session was devious because you bring it midway, halfway through the election, and somehow it would not cut ice because Mamata Banerjee has the women's vote. So what was the sense in bringing this special session?
Jab jage tab sabera. I don't think it's innocent. In politics, nothing is innocent. So certainly there is a political purpose, but when you look at the immediate two state assembly elections and want to link it with that, then that's not actually is the reason why it was brought in now.
So was it 2029 they were looking at?
I think so. I think that's because 2029 is the major game. So I think that's the target.
Anjali, 2026 state elections, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, or 2029?
If it is 2029, I would say the government still has a chance. Put out a bill where you delink delimitation from women's
Wishful
reservation.
thinking.
And no, and
मुंह में
let-
घी शक्कर.
let Mr. Modi impress all the women.
But why do you think the government brought this at this point? Was it looking at 2026 state elections or was it 2029?
So I would say that looking at the election campaign that is happening on the ground, certainly in West Bengal, it's not like the government is ignoring the fact that the bill was defeated. The government is certainly using this in West Bengal.
Will it work?
Whether it works or not remains to be seen. West Bengal is already a state which sees, TMC as very much a, woman-led party and having a very large representation of women.
So, in one sense, the government bungled then.
So, well, I think that the government is pushing a narrative and continues to push a narrative that they tried, but it did not happen. But I think somewhere they do know that the manner in which all of this played out, it is looking quite clear that it was not a very sincere attempt. So I think to that extent it bungled.
So, what is that one message that accrues from the recent fiasco? And I ask this to both of you.
Well, any government losing on the floor of the House speaks volumes about mismanagement of the floor. It speaks volumes about lack of communication with the other political parties. The bill was not robust, it was not drafted well. That also is a kind of weakness that was reflected. I won't call it fiasco, but I would certainly call it was not really well calculated, well planned move.
Anjali, what about the one big message that this failure of this bill?
I think that it sent out a very clear message that there is going to be no women's reservation, at least in the times to come. It sent out a very clear message that this government, while it brought in a special session, was not prepared to bring in a bill which would get the numbers, which would see women's reservation through. मैं तो कहती हूँ why wait for 2029? You can do it in 2027. Everybody across party lines should come together, agree and say, look, let us just go for women's reservation of 33% at whatever strength there is in parliament and state legislatures. And whenever delimitation happens and the number of seats go up, still give women 33%.
What do you make of, or how would you react to Prime Minister Modi seeing the defeat of the bill as what he called female feticide? And what do you make of his seeking forgiveness from women of this country? Do you think this victim card cuts ice?
Well, I don't think it cuts ice. My appeal to all politicians is to use appropriate language, because our political discourse is going down. Forgiveness for not getting women in the parliament should be asked by every political party, because all of them are collectively responsible. Please stop playing politics on women's representation question, because this one question women of India will not, in fact, they will not forgive you for not doing it.
And victim card because knowing in advance the fate of the bill.
Well, if you wanted 2/3 and you did not even have a single discussion with the opposition, you didn't bring them, none of the parties were taken into confidence to add the numbers. What was the messaging?
So the government should seek forgiveness for playing politics actually on women.
Well, I think all of them should. All of them should.
Anjali, PM saying female feticide, seeking forgiveness from women. What do you think of all this? What do you make of all this?
कोई तैयारी नहीं थी. The government would know that they cannot get 2/3 on their own without the support of opposition parties. So I think there was very clearly a failure on the part of the government to take opposition parties on board.
What they have done is a great injustice to women of India.
So let me now ask you that against the background of what you said and what she said, and on this point both of you agree, fortunately, would you then change your stance where you said no single leader can be blamed? Would you then say that yes, there is, if not a single leader, a single government which can be and should be blamed for what has happened on the floor of the
Well,
House.
there was possibility of immediately coming from the opposition side an alternative, consensus alternative. But there was nothing. So I think this is something that the whole idea that opposition was very innocent, ruling party was playing a game, and it was a political intent that was missing. I think Parliament lacks the political will to deliver women's reservation to women of India.
Opposition to blame.
Let me say that we have in the past not seen the government bring bills which they don't work the numbers out beforehand. This appears to be one of the very, very few exceptions.
Particularly from the BJP government.
Yes, they work out the numbers. Why then, for this particular bill, there was not even a real attempt that seemed to be made? That's a very serious question that this government has to answer, which really kind of raises the question that was it deliberate? Was it that, the government simply wanted, the ruling party simply wanted to say that, look, we were very keen and look, we were not supported, we didn't get the support and we didn't get the numbers and therefore it didn't go through. So that seems to be a very, very strong possibility. All members of parliament and all political parties must know that women are watching. You can't just do politics in our name.
Before I wrap up, one last word from both of you. A word of caution to the women of this country and a warning to the politicians.
Women must understand there is a huge, huge struggle to get a law passed, and then at times there is an even bigger struggle to have it implemented. So the battle unfortunately was not won in 2023. It seems it just began. So I think we have to brace ourselves for a long struggle ahead.
Ranjana, I would want you to wrap this up on a word of caution to women and a warning to political leaders.
Well, let me start with the warning. I think verdict is that all of you are guilty. Political parties should not be under the impression they can take women's vote for granted. And caution to women, don't wait. If you wait, nobody will give. Start asserting and exercising your authority and power. Don't listen to this kind of a patriarchal ideology which pushes you back.
On that note, Ranjana and Anjali, let me thank both of you for your time and for decoding and agreeing and disagreeing, which always makes the discussion very lively on this very complex and controversial Women's Reservation Bill. 30 years we have waited. I do hope we don't have to wait another 30 years, but I can't say we are ending on an optimistic note. I can only say, let's hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.